It's time for a new fun fold. I'm Deb Kais with Stampin' on the Hill. Welcome to my stamp room. It is July 23rd, 2025, and I think we should just jump right in, right? Let me show you what we're using today. Of course, it's July, so I'm featuring the Cheers and Sips bundle, which consists of, the stamp set and the dies. I've shown you those before. Today we're using some of the DSP. I'm going to show you a couple cute little techniques that I'm using to use those. And we've got 4 different colors of ink. I've got Daffodil Delight, Pretty in Pink, Old Olive, and Secret Sea. The Secret Sea is really a cool new in color. It's really a dark bluish gray, but it could suffice as black if you chose to use this instead of a regular black. It's a little softer. Anyway, we'll be using those. I'm also got a blender pen here, so I'll show you about that in a little bit. I have kind of pre-set up some of this stuff already, but I wanted to show you how we're going to use some of the stamps, and I wanted to get some of it done ahead of time so that you didn't have to sit through all of that. But so we've got that. Oh, this round die is from Stylish Shapes, so we'll be using that. I have a piece of the DSP from the Celebratory Sips DSP, and I'll show you how we're going to use that to cut out our stuff. The base of our card is going to be, I'm using Peach Pie. It's 8.5 by 5.5, and I've scored it at, I have it upside down. I've scored it at 1.5 and at 5 3/4. So I also have a piece of Basic White that is our typical inside piece. It's 4 by 5 1/4. And then I've got 2 pieces of DSP. This is from the same piece of DSP. One of them is 1 1/4 by 5 1/4, and this one is 2.5 by 5 1/4. All right, so, and then I have this other piece of as big as you need kind of scrap. So let me move some of this off to the side here. And I wanted to use this way. So I'm turning it back the way I had it originally, which had been upside down based on how I wrote the score instructions, but you can use it either way. So this is going to open like this, okay? And if you wanted to do it this way, you definitely could, but I want mine to go this way today. So we have that. We're going to set that aside. Let's see. We're going to, we might as well just glue these pieces right on first thing. So I want the strawberries to go this way. And we're going to glue that onto the front left side. Let me open this up so I can kind of make sure that I'm centering it on this panel. That's pretty good. And then we'll do the same with this one, but I'm going to use the opposite side. I tried to choose a DSP that, I'm not sure which way this goes. Let's see here. If there's a right and a wrong, I kind of don't think there is. And if so, nobody else is going to notice either. I tried to choose a DSP that has a coordinating back that isn't too busy. So that's how I chose this particular pattern. All right, so then let's bring this back in a second. We're going to cut out our pieces first. So I'm going to show you a minute how I did. I stamped the images in the colors that I wanted to color, and then I brought in my blender pen. And if you're not familiar with the blender pen, I bring my scrap paper in here. If you're not familiar with the blender pen, it just has some clear fluid in it, and you can't really see anything. But if you bring in your ink pad, or again, you could put this on a clear block. You could stamp it on a clear block, but with the blender pen, you can just pick the ink right up from the pad. So that's kind of what I did. And I don't want it to be too dark. So make sure you can see what I'm doing here. I started on the inside just in case it was too dark. And then I'm just sort of adding a little color, but I'm trying not to make it so dark that it covers up the actual lines from the stamp set. So we're just if you do this quickly enough, like if you stamped it and then brought your blender pen right in immediately, you could probably, while the ink is still wet from the initial stamp, that one's a little too dark. You could probably just pull the ink right from the stamped image into, so if you pulled like from the veins outward or from the edges inward, you could pull that ink in if you did it immediately. So then what you do with your blender pen in order to clean it is you just, I'm twisting my pen as I'm dragging it across this scratch paper here, and until it flows clear, and then you could go ahead and put the same tip in a different color ink. So I went ahead and started with my lightest colors, just in case I didn't clean it well enough. The blender pens come, and there's two tips, and both the tips are the same size. There's two tips on each one, so you can use, multiple colors if you wanted to keep going back and forth or whatever, but they come 3 in a pack. So 6 tips, one low price. I don't even remember how much they are, so it's okay. So I'm going to go ahead and get these cut out. And instead of having you watch me fumble through it as I tape them together, and then I have another pass for the second mint, I'm going to take a pause here a second and cut these out, and I will be right back. Okay, so I'm pulling all of these. The one thing that I thought that I would mention to you as I was cutting these is, these little holes in here, can you see the little hole in the bottom of the die? Sometimes it's hard to line them up exactly the way you want. And you never know, if it's just a little skewed this way, you're not going to get the stem. So you can kind of look through there and make sure that your stem is actually showing through the hole. Yep, you have to have good eyes for this, and I don't. So anyhow, it doesn't have to be perfect. Nothing ever has to be perfect because these are homemade. All right, so I've got these pieces. Let's go with, so now I want to show you, I want to use this color, okay? I'm going to bring in my Secret C and this tall glass stamp. My stuff out of the way so there's enough room for everything in here. Okay, ink this up in Secret C. Now I want it to be a little, like, not to the top of the glass. So if I put my glass down where there's just a little on the top left over. Okay, so now I have my glass. We're gonna put this through the, we're gonna put this on here, and we're gonna send this through the cutter as well. Go do that, and I'll be right back again. Okay, so I carefully peel off my washi tape that I used to hold it together, so you get the idea then of how the glass works. I'm also going to, I forgot about this, but I'm going to bring in some ice. So we'll grab the little ice cubes, and I'm trying to pick a color. If you choose to not use the same piece block that I did from the DSP, you're going to want to pick like some other coordinating color. I'm going to use Pretty in Pink because I think that's probably the closest color here. I don't want them to be black ice, so I'm just going to stamp a couple of ice cubes a couple of times in here. what makes it look like a full glass with my ice. Okay, I'm going to we're going to build this up. So I'm going to take my lemon and I'm going to give it a slice on one side all the way up. I'm going to put this on one side. I'm going to put some mint in here. Let's see how I want this to go here. Like this and like this. I always like to dry fit my stuff before I actually set it down, or glue it down, I should say. And this doesn't have to be, I want an umbrella in here. So let's see, the umbrella. I forgot to stamp my cheers. Let's do that. So I kind of can know so I want to stamp cheers on the left side. Let's move this over. So as close as I can get it to the left. And again, this was in Secret C. And let's see here. The umbrella can be up above, all right? And then this is going to be down here. And then I'm going to, because I have this kind of dry fit in here, I'm going to add the stem for the umbrella. Actually, I think I'm going to put it in pink. It should stay in pink because the whole umbrella is in pink, right? So I've got the little stem here for the umbrella, not the stem, but the handle. Okay, and I'm gonna just sort of wing this. I'm gonna move this out of the way. Stamp that down. Now look what I did. All right. We are going to cover that up with something. I just don't know what yet. Okay, so this is going to go here so it looks like it's attached. And then this is going to come here enough that you can just see a little bit of it. All right. So let's go ahead and glue this down. This is only going to be a little glue on the edge here. This edge, yes. All right. Because the rest of it is sticking up off of the circle. And then I'm going to glue a little bit of this, just this little bit right here, so it actually sticks to the back of my glass. And then I'm going to put another, glue is going to go on the front side of that, so we can stick that in here as well. We don't want it looking like it's coming out the side of the glass. We want it to look like it's coming up out of the glass. All right, so then we're just going to glue the center portion because I'm not sure exactly what's going to fall off of the circle as we do this. So that looks good. And this is already glued together, so I'm not worried that there's not really glue behind that leafy portion. Maybe I'll add this other one over here. I could do that. That'd be cool. All right, let's do that. That'll cover that right up. There's always a way to cover things up here. Let's do that. Add a little of that. Okay. We also need, what are we going to put on the inside? Cheers. And we can put some, let's add some, excuse me. Let's add some more mint on the inside. We'll just add a few sprigs down here. And again, I can color these in. Maybe I will. Actually, let's add another one up here. That's good. Maybe I'll add, maybe I'll color them in. Maybe I'll just leave them like this. And then I probably should put some kind of something on the inside. I'm not sure what it's going to be yet. Sometimes I like to leave my cards kind of blank so that when I come up with the occasion that I want to use it for, then I'm ready. So I think for now, I'm going to leave the rest of this without any kind of sentiment. We're going to put this as the inside. We're going to add this in there this way. All right. And then we're going to add our glass to this portion over here. I mean, yeah. And I'm gonna make it so it's kind of centered. So what I'm doing, here's a tip. You can flip it directly upside down. So you can kind of see the visual of this side right here, right where this line is coming up. I can only glue from here over. All right. So we're gonna do that. And then we'll flip it back around and glue her down. Make sure my cheers is straight there. All right. We could add some embellishments to this. Let's see what we have here. We have something came with this. These holographic resin dots came with it. So let's add a couple of those. I don't really want the big ones. Let's use a medium-sized one. And a small one. And another small one. Where's this one going to go? Again, with the triangle. Okay. So this is kind of cool, I think. I like it. I love how it opens. And you know, a lot of the fun fold cards are they end up taking up a lot more cardstock than necessary. Or, you know, if you're being frugal, you want a cool looking fun fold card, but you don't want to use like 2 full sheets of cardstock either. So this is a good way to only use the 1/2 of sheet of cardstock like a normal card, and it's just folded a little differently. So let's see. What else did I want to tell you? Oh, so if you are interested in getting the free written tutorial for this particular fun fold, all you have to do is place a $20 or more order in my online store, and I will send you the written tutorial. And as always, if you enjoyed this and you want to see more, please give me a thumbs up or comment, because it really helps me to reach more people on my social media channels. Until next time, thanks for watching.